The whisper in the Reykjavik moon was cold, silent, forgotten. Commander Ray Carter stood on a rocky ridge, looking down at a smoking crater. His old spacesuit hissed with every breath. The ground below him was black and broken. Something had crash-landed just minutes ago. Ray wasn't here to play hero. He was a scavenger now. After the war, he stopped saving the galaxy. These days, he only saved whatever he could sell. He slid down the ridge toward the wreck. A small pod, silver dented, but still glowing, sat half buried in the dirt. Its emergency lights blinked slowly, like a heartbeat fading away. Ray pulled out his scanner. And oh, life signs. Just scrap, he muttered. Maybe some parts. He stepped closer. The pod's door creaked open on its own, releasing a soft hiss of air. Inside was smoke, and something else. A quiet, slow breath. Ray froze. A shape moved. Small. Human-shaped. Then, from the smoke, a little girl crawled forward. Her hair was dark and messy, her skin pale, her eyes wide and glowing faint blue locked on Ray. She looked up at him. Her lips trembled, and then she whispered, "Will you be my father?" Ray blinked. He actually stepped back. "What?" The girl said nothing more. She just stared at him like she already knew him, like she was waiting. Ray looked around, half expecting a camera crew to jump out and say it was a prank. And no one came. "Who are you?" he asked. She didn't answer, just held out a shaking hand. Her fingers were burned, her knees scraped. She looked like she'd been through fire, and something worse. Ray sighed. He knew what he should do: walk away, report it, let someone else handle this. But his feet didn't move. That whisper, that look, it felt like a message meant only for him. He stepped into the pod and gently lifted her out. "You're lucky I'm in a stupid mood today," he muttered, inside his small ship. The warden, Ray, placed the girl on a medical bed. The ship's AI, a female voice named Eli, began scanning her immediately. Vitals stable, minor injuries. DNA match found. Ray raised an eyebrow. "Match found? What do you mean?" "Her DNA matches one registered in your personal files. Lieutenant Sarah Ellen Carter, deceased." Ray froze. That name, it hit like a punch to the chest. Sarah, his wife, his lost wife. She died 5 years ago on an alien research mission. Her ship vanished near a forbidden star system. They never found her, but now a child with Sarah's DNA? "Explain, Eli," Ray said, his voice rough. "She is not your daughter, but she shares 47% of Sarah Ellen Carter's genetic code." Ray looked at the girl. She was awake, watching him quietly, like she already knew what he was hearing. "Where did you come from?" he asked softly. The girl sat up slowly. "They were chasing me," she said. "They want me back." "Who?" She looked out the ship's window. Her voice was almost too soft to hear. "The ones who made me." Ray stared at her. "Made you?" She nodded. "They took pieces. Pieces of your wife. Pieces of others. I wasn't born. I was built." Ray turned away. His heart was pounding now. This was bigger than some abandoned escape pod. This was something else. Something dark. A light flashed on the control screen. "Warning, known ship approaching," Ray cursed. "We've got company." He checked the radar. "One ship. Fast. Armed. They followed me," the girl whispered. Ray's mind raced. He didn't sign up for this. He didn't want a mission. He didn't want a kid. And yet, here she was, asking him the one question he never thought he'd hear again. "Will you be my father?" The enemy ship was closing in. Ray took the pilot seat. "Hold on, kid." She grabbed his hand. "I'm not a normal girl," she said, "but I don't want to go back. Not to them." Ray looked at her, and in that moment, he didn't see a mystery or a science experiment. He saw a scared child, and something deep inside him, something old and broken, clicked back into place. "All right, kid," he said. "You've got a father now." He hit the engine thrusters. The warden roared to life, shooting across the moon's surface as laser fire lit up the sky behind them. The signal and the secret. The warden jumped into low orbit, engines burning hard. Behind them, a black hunter ship followed like a shadow with teeth. Ray dodged sharp between space debris and frozen meteors. The girl sat quietly in the co-pilot seat, Not afraid, just calm. Too calm for someone her age. Ray glanced at her. You got a name, kid? She paused. I think. They called me Unit 7, but I don't like that name. Yeah, me neither. Sounds like a toaster. She smiled just a little. First time since he found her. Down in the ship's lower deck. The AI system. Eli buzzed again. Commander, you should see this, Eli said. Ray entered the control room. A hologram floated over the console. It showed a glowing data crystal, the one he'd found sewn into the girl's jacket. I decoded part of the file. It's advanced, not human-made. Ray frowned. Alien? Worse, Eli replied. It's a hybrid signal, half alien tech, half human brainwave patterns. It appears to be alive. Ray blinked. Alive? Yes. And it's transmitting. Transmitting what? Suddenly, a voice echoed from the crystal. A woman's voice. Soft. Familiar. Ray, if you're hearing this, they're coming for her and for you. Ray's heart dropped. It was Sarah, his dead wife. Flashback quick scene. Sarah, smiling, laughing, saying goodbye before that last mission, the one she never returned from. Now, her voice was inside an alien message. The girl entered the room. That's her, the one they used. Ray turned. Used how? She was their experiment. She volunteered to study them, but they didn't let her leave. They copied her, pieces of her memory, her DNA, her emotions. The crystal glowed brightly. Ray's hands clenched. You were made from her, he whispered. That's why you have her voice, her eyes. The girl nodded slowly. But I'm not her. I'm something new. He looked at her, struggling to understand. She was just a child, and yet not. Why are they after you? She walked to the window. Outside, stars drifted past like dust. Because I have the key, she said. A code inside me. One that can open the gate. Ray blinked. What gate? She looked at him. The one that connects our world to theirs. Meanwhile, aboard the hunter ship, a cold, tall figure stood in the shadows. Its skin shimmered like silver glass. Its voice was deep and hollow. Subject 7 has bonded with the human. Prepare containment protocol. Another figure, wearing black armor, nodded. But what if he resists? The tall one smiled, though it had no mouth. Then we erase him. Back on the Warden, Ray checked the star charts. They couldn't run forever. Where do we go now? He asked. The girl closed her eyes. I remember a place. A station. Hidden near the dark nebula. My mother told me about it in the dream. Ray stared. Your mother? You mean, she's still alive? The girl said. Ray felt like the air left his lungs. Sarah? The girl nodded. Not fully. Not like before. But part of her survived. In the gate, Ray turned to Eli. Set course. Full speed. Hours later, deep space. They reached the edge of the dark rift, a black cloud of swirling energy, full of hidden dangers. Few ships entered, fewer returned, but hidden inside was Labyrinth Station, an illegal colony of outcasts, rebels, and data smugglers. Ray docked quietly. This place is trouble, Eli warned. Ray smirked. Good. So am I. Inside the station, they met an old contact. Dr. Linz, a former military scientist who owed Ray a favor. The girl stayed silent but close. Linz scanned her, then froze. This isn't just alien tech in her, he said. Her nervous system is half organic, half quantum AI. She's a living database. Database of what? Ray asked. Blueprints, star maps, weapons, and something else. He turned the screen toward Ray. It showed coordinates. One's not on any chart. Where is that? Ray asked. Linz looked nervous. I don't know, but I've heard rumors. A world built by the first aliens. A place where time bends. They call it the cathedral. Suddenly explosion. The walls shook. Alarms blared. They found us, the girl said softly. Ray drew his blaster. Stay behind me. No, she said. I can help. Her eyes glowed brighter. Ray watched in shock as she raised her hand and shut down the lights. The alarms, even the gravity. With just a thought, everyone floated, weightless. She brought it all back in seconds. Ray stared. How? She looked at him, her voice calm but strange. I was built to open doors, Ray. Even the ones you're not supposed to open. The father code. Ray Carter rescued a strange girl who called him father. She wasn't born, she was built. From alien tech and the DNA of Ray's late wife, Sarah. Now they're on the run. And the secret inside the girl might be powerful enough to unlock a gateway to another world. But not everyone wants that door open. Inside Labyrinth Station hidden docking bay, Ray stared at the girl, still shaken by what she had just done. Lights, alarms, gravity. She controlled it all without touching a thing. Who taught you that? He asked. The girl looked down. No one. It was already inside me. I just know. Ray turned to his old friend, Dr. Linz. You said she's part quantum AI. Can she be controlled? Linz shook his head. No, but someone might be trying to. Ray didn't like the sound of that. He didn't like any of this. Ray shipped the warden back aboard. Ray and the girl returned to the ship, trying to leave quietly. But something felt off. Too quiet. The airlock clicked shut behind them, locked from the outside. Ray's instincts kicked in. He drew his blaster, turned, and fired just as a figure stepped out of the shadows. It was Mason Griggs, Ray's old war buddy, the man who once saved his life. Easy, Ray, Mason said, hands up. I'm not here to fight. Ray didn't lower the weapon. Then why are you on my ship? Mason glanced at the girl. I'm here for her. Ray's jaw tightened. Then we do have a problem. Mason sighed. Listen, man, you don't understand what she is. What she could do. If she opens that gate, we don't know what's waiting on the other side. Could be peace. Could be extinction. She's a child, Ray growled. No, she's a key wearing a child's face. The girl stepped forward. Calm. If you're going to take me, she said, you should know. I'm not afraid. But you should be. Suddenly every screen on the ship turned on. Static. Then, a face appeared. Sarah. Younger. Alive. But it wasn't a video. She was talking now, Sarah. Ray whispered. She looked directly at him. Oh, Ray. Not me. Just a memory. One I left behind. In her. Ray's heart ached. The girl turned to him. That's why I came to you. Not just to escape, but to remember who I am. Ray looked into her eyes. They weren't just glowing, they were reflecting his own pain. Then, Sarah's voice continued. Ray, if you're seeing this, it means I failed. But she's not a weapon. She's a second chance. A daughter. And I gave her your code. Ray blinked. My code? The girl nodded slowly. Your memories. Your ethics. Your kindness. I don't just have her in me. I have you too. Ray took a step back. His voice was low. How? She recorded you. Everything. Before she left. Your voice. Your choices. Who you were. They uploaded it into me. You're the reason I know what's right. Meanwhile, enemy ship, the collector, far across the stars. The tall silver figure watched the transmission. Her emotional link to the human is stronger than predicted. One of the soldiers spoke. Should we sever it? The figure paused, then whispered. No, Negro. The stronger her humanity, the more painful her betrayal will be. The cathedral coordinates decoded back on the warden. Linz finally cracked part of the crystal's coordinates. Ray stared at the map. This can't be right. That planet doesn't exist. Linz shook his head. It exists, but only during certain time windows, and the next one opens in 48 hours. Ray turned to the girl. What happens if you go there? She looked unsure. For the first time, I don't know, but I think I'll remember everything. Ray hesitated. That could be good, or it could break her. The decision later. As the ship floated in the dark, Ray sat alone in the pilot's chair. The girl came and sat beside him. You don't have to protect me, she said. I know you didn't ask for this. Ray stared out the window. Stars blinked. So far from Earth. So far from normal life. I didn't ask for it, he said. But maybe I needed it. She looked up. So, you'll stay? Ray turned to her. I may not be your real father, but I'm the one you've got now. And I'm not leaving. She smiled, and then, something unexpected happened. A small tear fell down her cheek. Incoming transmission, unknown origin. Suddenly, the ship systems lit up. A voice came through the speakers. Ray Carter, you are holding stolen property. Stand down and surrender the girl. You have 6 hours. Ray narrowed his eyes. Or what? The voice replied coldly, or we take her, and everything else you love. The Labyrinth of Lost Stars Commander Ray Carter is protecting a girl who wasn't born. She was engineered, using alien tech and DNA from his dead wife. She holds a powerful code that can open an ancient alien gate, and every power in the galaxy wants her. Now, hunted and out of time, Ray heads toward a mythical place that doesn't appear on any map, a place whispered about in rogue data feeds and buried files. The Labyrinth. The warden approaching the Rift girl sat in the co-pilot seat, watching the stars blur into streaks. Ray leaned over the console. We're close. The coordinates say it's here, but I see nothing, just blackness outside. Thick, empty black. No planets, no light, just a dead zone in space. And then boom. The ship shook. A pulse wave hit them, invisible but heavy, like space itself had taken a deep breath. The girl whispered, "It's opening." Before Ray could reply, something appeared, a massive structure made of light and shadow, half floating, half buried in dark gas clouds. It looked like a broken space station wrapped around a black hole. This was the Labyrinth, a forgotten alien relic. Twisted tunnels, floating ruins, dead ships, drifted like ghosts around it. Ray stared. Well, that's not friendly. Entering the labyrinth, he navigated into a broken docking bay. The lights flickered as if remembering power. No signals, no signs of life. But the girl, she walked like she'd been here before. I've seen this, she said. In dreams. The walls were covered in carvings, shapes, symbols, impossible designs that seemed to shift when you blinked. Ray's voice echoed. What is this place? She placed her hand on one wall. This is where the truth hides. The chamber of a cozy. Deeper inside the labyrinth, they found a large circular room. The walls glowed dim blue. Suddenly, a flash of light. Then dozens of holograms appeared, each one of a different version of the girl. Some older, some younger, some smiling, others screaming. Ray stepped back. What is this? The real girl stood still. These are echoes, failed versions of me, trials. He swallowed. You're saying they made more of you? She nodded. I'm the only one that survived. And then a hologram appeared behind them. Sarah. Not just a voice this time, but a full figure, her body flickering with static. Ray, she said softly. He walked toward her, barely breathing. Sarah? I'm not her, the hologram said, but I hold what's left of her mind. What she gave up to make the girl. Ray's hands trembled. Why? Why go this far? The image of Sarah looked toward the girl. Because the universe is dying, and the only thing that can save it is her. Revelation. Sarah's hologram pointed toward a strange pedestal in the center of the room. This is the archive. It holds knowledge from the first civilization, the ones who came before us all. The girl can unlock it. Ray stared at the girl. What happens if she does? Sarah's voice lowered. Her human side may disappear. Ray shook his head. No, she's not just a code. She's a person. She's both, Sarah said. And that's why she's the only one who can decide. Enemy arrival. Suddenly, alarms blared. The enemy had found them. A shadow fell across the labyrinth. The collector ship arrived, its dark metal belly glowing with red lights. Inside, the tall alien figure gave one command. Take the girl. Kill the rest. Ray looked at the girl. We're out of time. She stepped toward the pedestal. I can end this, she said. No. Ray grabbed her hand. You don't have to give yourself up. She looked at him, her eyes glowing with sadness. You said I could choose. This is my choice. The choice. He's placed her hand on the pedestal. A beam of light shot out, and the labyrinth came alive. Walls shifted. Doors opened. Old machines powered up for the first time in centuries. A deep voice echoed from nowhere. Access granted. Memory restored. The girl collapsed to her knees. Ray caught her. I remember everything, she whispered. I remember being made, the pain, the tests, the lies, and I remember her, your wife. She loved you. Ray held her close. You're not just her memory. You're more than that. I know, she said, but the enemy is inside now, and if they take this place, the universe ends. Final stand begins. Ray stood, gun drawn. Outside, enemy soldiers poured in. Linz radioed from the ship. Ray, they're surrounding the station. The girl stood beside Ray, but she was different now, calmer, stronger, glowing. Her voice echoed strangely. Let's finish what she started, Dad. Ray looked at her, then nodded. Together, the betrayal protocol. Ray Carter and the girl, a living hybrid of alien tech and his dead wife's DNA, unlocked the labyrinth, an ancient alien structure holding the key to the universe's survival. The girl remembered everything, but so did the ones hunting her. Now, as the enemies close in, Ray faces his greatest test, protecting a child who might save everyone or lose herself forever. Labyrinth core chamber. The chamber shook. Red lights flashed. The girl stood by the archive, glowing faintly. Her body pulsed with strange energy, as if the labyrinth was recognizing her. Ray held his weapon, watching the main entrance. His voice was steady, but his eyes betrayed the fear behind them. How many are coming? Linz's voice crackled over. Comes. Too many. Dozens. And they've got power suits. The girl turned to Ray. Her voice echoed unnaturally. I can stop them, but not if I stay like this. Ray stepped forward. What do you mean? She pointed at the pedestal. The labyrinth offers two paths: knowledge or control. If I take control, I can defend us, but I'll lose my emotions. Ray's heart skipped. You'll become what? A machine? No, worse. A weapon. Filtration. Enemy soldiers entered the labyrinth, black armored visors, moving like shadows. Behind them walked Commander Nash, Ray's former captain from the Terran Wars. A man Ray once trusted. A man long believed dead. He removed his helmet. His face was older, but his voice was the same. Carter, Nash said, didn't think you'd be the one in my way. Ray raised his gun. Still collecting lost children for your masters? Nash smirked. She's not a child. She's a data bomb. One that shouldn't exist. The girl stepped beside Ray. She does exist. And she chose me. Nash sighed. Then she chose wrong. Flashback. The truth behind Sarah. Suddenly, the archive pulsed. Memories poured from the walls. Holograms flickered to life, showing the past. Sarah, pregnant, smiling, a failed pregnancy, the mission, the deal she made with alien scientists. She offered her DNA in exchange for a chance to create life again. Ray watched in silence, frozen. You were never told, the girl said. She never had time. Tears filled Ray's eyes. She made you because she couldn't save our real daughter. The girl nodded. And I became the last piece of both of you. The betrayal. Just as Ray reached for her hand, boom. A stunned blast hit Ray from behind. He collapsed, body shaking. Mason Griggs stood there, Ray's old friend, smiling, weapon in hand. I'm sorry, Ray, Mason said. You never saw the bigger picture. But I did. The girl stepped back. You tricked us. Mason shrugged. I never stopped working for them. They promised peace. You were just in the way. He raised a remote control. I activate Protocol 9. Target locked. Memory core extraction begins now. The girl screamed, not from pain, but confusion. Why would you do this? Mason walked up to her. Because peace requires sacrifice. You're the perfect trade. The commissary fought to move. Blood in his mouth. Muscles burning. The girl was in pain, her eyes blinking rapidly. The extraction had begun. Her thoughts were being stolen. Ray pulled himself across the floor, and then his fingers found his hidden blaster. He fired and hit the remote. In Mason's hand. Bang. Sparks flew. Extraction stopped. The girl fell to the ground unconscious. Mason turned to shoot Ray, but froze. Behind him, the girl was rising, not walking, floating. Her eyes were now solid white. Her voice was two-toned. Human and not. I remember now. All of it. And I'm not your weapon. Transformation. The labyrinth glowed with her energy. Walls shifted. Enemy soldiers dropped their weapons and screamed, clutching their heads. Nash backed away. What is she? Mason stared in awe. She's becoming the gate. The archive expanded, showing an entire galaxy, blueprints, Planets? Codes? The girl spoke again. If I open the gate now, the universe changes. Life or extinction, I choose. Ray crawled closer. Don't let them decide for you. Don't let pain decide. Choose love. For a second her glow dimmed. Her eyes returned to normal. She dropped to her knees and reached for Ray. I don't want to lose myself. He held her hand. Then don't. Stay with me. Choose to stay. Scene. Nash's final move from behind. Nash fired. A kill shot aimed straight for the girl. But Ray, without thinking, jumped in front. Boom. Ray fell. The girl screamed, and the labyrinth exploded in light. Aftermath. Unknown time. Ray awoke on the ship, bandaged, alive. The girl sat beside him, silent, watching. You're okay, he whispered. She nodded. You stopped the gate. You stopped me from losing everything. He smiled weakly. Did we win? She gave a small, sad smile. We're still here. That counts. A new beginning. Outside the window, the stars seemed brighter, calmer. Ray stood at the helm again. The girl sat beside him, this time holding a small necklace. Eris. She looked up at him. Can I still call you Dad? Ray looked out into the stars, then back at her. You better. The Ilian Cathedral. Ray Carter risked everything to protect the girl, a living fusion of alien tech and his lost wife's DNA. After unlocking the labyrinth, she nearly became a weapon of galactic destruction. Ray saved her, but he was wounded in the process. The girl chose love over power, but the gate to another world still exists, and someone else is waiting for it to open. Deep space. 1 week. Warden floated quietly through a silver-blue nebula. Inside, Ray Carter was healing. Slowly, quietly. The girl, now stronger, more confident, but still haunted, stood by the control panel, staring at the final coordinates left inside the archive before the labyrinth collapsed. A strange symbol blinked on the screen, unreadable, ancient, pulsing like a heartbeat. Ray limped into the cockpit. You sure about this? He asked. The girl didn't turn. It's where the signal ends. Where it all began. Ray sighed. You mean the gate? She nodded. And the cathedral. Entering the unknown. As they approached the location, the stars vanished. Literally gone. Not dark, not dimmed, missing. Ray stared out the window. Where are we? The girl replied. Outside the map. Suddenly, a shape appeared. Massive, floating, silent. The cathedral. It wasn't a building. It was a structure the size of a planet, half grown, half built. A mix of alien stone and biomechanical roots, floating in a gravity field that bent light around it. It had no doors, no windows, just a pulse. The same pulse the girl carried inside her. It's alive, she said. It's waiting. Landing on the cathedral. The warden docked on a floating platform. The moment Ray and the girl stepped outside, gravity changed. Their feet didn't walk. They floated forward, pulled by something unseen. They passed walls that moved slightly like breathing skin. Glyphs lit up as they walked past, following the girl's heartbeat. Then, a door appeared. Not opened. Appeared. Inside was darkness and whispers. The echo chamber inside the cathedral. The walls echoed with strange sounds, voices in thousands of languages, including human. Ray heard fragments. Sarah Carter. Project failed. Begin replication. The human code is unstable. He turned to the girl. They knew about us. She nodded. We weren't the first attempt, but we're the first to make it this far. Ray gritted his teeth. Who built this place? And then the air shimmered. A being appeared. Not made of flesh, not metal, something between. Its face shifted constantly. Male, female, young, old, human, alien. Its voice echoed in their minds. We are the architects. The revelation. Raised his weapon. The being didn't move. It simply looked at the girl. She is our final messenger, it said. Our last seed. Ray stepped forward. You stole from my wife. You used her. The being tilted its head. She volunteered to save her child. Ray froze. What child? You, it said, looking at the girl. You were dying, still inside her. She offered herself to preserve your code. We rebuilt it. Ray whispered. Sarah was pregnant. The girl blinked. So I'm real? The being nodded. You are the lost daughter, reborn in the shell of 1,000 stars. Ray's knees weakened. The truth shattered everything. The girl wasn't just a creation. She was his child, his daughter. The last test suddenly, the cathedral shook. A dark energy grew in the far wall. A second presence entered. Mason Griggs, but not fully Mason anymore. His body was altered, infected by something alien. His eyes were glowing black. His voice, hollow. You never understood, he said. The gate isn't to bring peace. It's to bring them back. Behind him, shadow pulsed. Massive. Eldritch. Not of this reality. They were the true architects, Mason hissed. Banished long ago. But through her, they can return. The girl stepped forward. I won't let them in, Mason sneered. It's not up to you anymore. He raised his weapon. Ray moved to shield her. The cathedral awakened floor lit up beneath the girl. Her pulse matched the cathedral's. Ray reached out. You don't have to be a weapon. You don't have to open it. She looked back at him, eyes wide, glowing with blue fire. I'm not opening it, she said. I'm closing it. The cathedral groaned. The ancient walls screamed as if alive, fighting back. The girl raised both hands. I am my father's daughter. I choose my path. Light exploded from her body. Mason screamed. The shadow behind him collapsed into itself. Ray shielded his eyes, and then silence. After Lytra opened his eyes, the cathedral was still, silent, dark, and the girl was gone. No, he searched, screaming her name. But then, a small light blinked on the pedestal. Her voice played softly. I'm here, not gone, just between worlds, where they can't reach me, where I can watch, where I can heal. Collapsed, tears in his eyes. I'm safe, Dad, and when I'm ready, I'll come home. Returned to the warden. Ray stood alone in the cockpit again. The stars returned outside the ship. The universe saved. He held a pendant in his hand, the one that once belonged to Sarah. He whispered to the stars, I'll wait for you. The choice of a father. Ray Carter discovered that the girl, a hybrid of alien tech, and his late wife's DNA, wasn't just a creation. She was his daughter, born from sacrifice, raised in chaos, chosen by a force older than the stars. She closed the alien cathedral from within to stop an ancient darkness from returning. She is now between worlds, silent, watching, waiting, but not gone. The warden. 1 month later, Ray Carter sat in silence, orbiting a small dead moon. The stars outside blinked quietly, like distant watchers who had seen too much. Ray hadn't spoken to anyone since the cathedral. And omissions. No signals, no crew. Only a message, her last message, playing in his mind. I'm safe, Dad, and when I'm ready, I'll come home. He'd replayed it 1,000 times, but there was no reply. Until now, a new signalelli, the ship's AI, suddenly crackled to life. Commander, unusual signal detected. Ray blinked, sat upright. Source? Unknown. But the frequency matches her. Ray rushed to the console. A screen lit up with coordinates deep in a rogue system, a place that didn't exist yesterday. And the message? Only 2 words. Find me. The journey begins. Ray powered up the warden for the first time in weeks. His hands moved quickly, like muscle memory had never left. She's alive, he whispered. And she's calling. The ship jumped into the dark. Arrival at the edge. Warden reached the edge of a starless field space that bent in strange ways, like time was folding in on itself. A structure appeared, not the cathedral, not the labyrinth, but something new. A sphere, perfect, glowing with pulsing light. Ray docked carefully. He stepped out and felt nothing, no gravity, no wind, no temperature, only silence, until a voice echoed. Her voice. This is where I've been, Dad. I've seen everything, all timelines, all versions of myself, and I chose one truth. Reuni. Suddenly, she appeared, but older, maybe 16 or 17 now, still glowing, still part alien, but more human than ever. She smiled. Ray froze. Is it really you? She nodded. I rebuilt myself from the pieces they left me. He stepped closer, tears in his eyes. You came back. No, she said, gently touching his hand. You came for me. Again, the final decision. She led him into the sphere. Inside, every version of herself, standing in silence, hundreds of echoes frozen in time. Different ages, different futures. This is what the cathedral gave me, she said. A chance to choose who I become. Ray looked around, overwhelmed. All of these are you? Yes, but only one gets to live. The others must be erased. Ray turned to her. So why am I here? She looked at him, eyes heavy. Because I can't choose alone. The father code revisited. On final echo, the youngest one stepped forward. The same little girl from the beginning, eyes wide, voice soft. Will you be my father? Ray's breath caught. It was the same moment, full circle. He turned to his daughter, older, stronger now. This is who you were. She nodded. But I need to choose who I will be. He stepped between the echoes and placed his hand on her shoulder. You are brave. You are kind. You're not a machine. You're not a project. You're my daughter. That's all you ever had to be. She closed her eyes, and then the echoes disappeared, one by one, until only she remained. The light faded, and she became real, whole, complete. A new enemy watching far across the stars. In the shadow of a dying sun, a figure watched through a cracked screen. A voice behind it whispered, "The girl has chosen. The gate is closed. For now." Her voice, deeper, older, colder, replied. Then we open another. A file opened. Project Orion Dawn, and the screen showed Earth. Back on the Wardenth girl, now fully herself, sat beside Ray in the cockpit. Where to next, Dad? Ray smirked. Anywhere but normal. She laughed, a real laugh, not programmed or predicted. A sound of someone finally free. He looked out the window. Let's go home.